guys, thanks for joining me for another bike parts video. In today's video, we're going to do a product review on Legend suspension and on Cycle Engineering's gold fork tubes. So first let's talk about Legends. I'm running Legends on the back and on the front of my motorcycle. On the back I'm going to be running the Legend revo-a's. These are the gold anodized. The A stands for adjustable and these are 13-inch. Let's talk about this real quick. So a few things that Legend does differently and why I've chosen Legends for the back and for the front. The back of the motorcycle, the spring that they're using here is called a linear rate spring. Now that's different than a progressive rate spring. In a progressive rate spring, a lot of times you'll see the coils as they get towards the ends, you'll see the coils start to get closer together. That means that the spring, the more it compresses, the higher the spring rate gets. So it's got a progressive rate spring. Legend has gone with a linear rate spring. That means no matter where it's at in its stroke, it's going to have the same spring rate. But that puts more work and more demand on the valving inside the shock. And I think that's really where Legends shines. They've also done spherical bearings on the top and the bottom, and that's going to help prevent any sort of swing arm bind as you're going through long corners and that back end is compressing. It's going to stop the back of the motorcycle from getting any unwanted bind or loading up in a corner. So that's what they've done that I really appreciate about the back. It is worth mentioning, all Legend suspension does come with a full lifetime warranty. They are fully made in America. Just an incredible company, an incredible product. So on the back of the bikes, these are the Legend revo-a's in 13-inch. That's what I'm running on my dyna. Let's talk about the front of the bike. On the front, I'm going to be using their Axeo kit. And after doing some research, there's a few things again that I'd like to discuss. So I was reading an article that Erik Buell gave on why Harley-Davidson chose Showa as a factory suspension for the front of their motorcycles. And it really, he said that it primarily came down to the fact, not that it was a premium manufacturer or anything like that, it had to do with manufacturing capabilities. So a lot of the domestic suspension manufacturers that Harley would have approached were all automotive suspension manufacturers, and their production quantities were way too big for Harley, who comparatively needed very small batch sizes. And so when they approached Showa agreed to be able to produce, let's say, 400 kits a day, something along those quantity lines. And so it was much more in line with Harley's needs. Showa does make a great suspension, but when you look at what is equipped factory on the Harley-Davidsons, it's actually called a dampening rod style suspension versus what Legends is gonna upgrade your bike to, which is a cartridge style. So the Legend suspension, again, this is the Axeo. In my mind, I like to look at it as an inverted front end. So you get to keep your stock fork tube and lower slider, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull out all that stock dampening, that price point manufactured stuff, ditch that was all made for some other rider, some other weight, and get a fine-tuned cartridge style suspension. So with the Legend Axeo kit, you're gonna get all your nitrogen, high charge chamber up on top, and then the spring down below. So it's kind of an old trick in the book where for your factory Harley front end, if you want your front end to be a little bit more firm, I just throw some heavier oil in there. And that's because the factory suspension is working like an old hydraulic system. It's relying on that fluid to do all the dampening versus when you upgrade to a cartridge, relying on your nitrogen charge and your spring with your preload adjustability to do all the work for you. So while you do run oil in your Legend front end, it's really just there to keep things a little bit lubricated, to splash around, keep things a little bit wet, but it's not a hydraulic front end. It is a cartridge front end. So you get 200 pounds of nitrogen up top, preload adjustable, and again, full lifetime warranty. We'll be taking this Legend and we'll be sliding it right into the Cycle Engineering gold fork tubes. So these gold fork tubes, hey, why not, right? So this was something that I've always really liked the look of. A few things worth noting about gold tubes. Maintenance. These things do require special care, so you don't want to hit this coating. It's a plating that they put on here. It's not like an anodize, it's not a ceramic, it's not a Cerakote. It's a special plating that's put on top of the chrome tube. And you want to just maintain it with soap and water. You don't want to get aggressive after it. And then when love bugs hit it, road grime, all that, you do want to try to get it off, because this plating will eventually wear off. It's not, it doesn't last forever. So keep that in mind. You want to try to take care as much as you can of the gold. So I'm using Axeos in the front. I'm using revo-a's on the back. And now I'm going to do a quick install, get the backs on the motorcycle so you can see them, and get this bike slowly going together. Awesome. Here we go. And just like that, your back end is installed. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about these revo-a's on the back. The two main components of this back shock are going to be your preload, which you're going to adjust by just grabbing the spring and twisting it, and your rebound, which is going to be the 6-way adjustable knob down at the bottom. Now, step one on any suspension is setting your rider sag. You cannot do that with factory Harley suspension. That right there should be a huge indication of the shortcomings of factory shocks, front and back. And so step one on this is going to be setting your rider sag on the revo-a's, probably somewhere around 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. And then you'll be able to fine tune it with your rebound and maybe just a few more twists on your preload knob, which is going to help adjust your compression. So that's the back of the suspension. On the front, I've obviously got to do a little bit of magic to get this front end together. So to do that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these down. And then there it is. The front fork tubes are assembled. We've got the Legend suspension inside the Cycle Engineering gold tubes. I've got the stock sliders powder coated black. I've got a Drag Specialties complete fork rebuild kit. So it's got new bushings, new seals, all new everything. I use the Maxima fluid that comes with the Legends suspension kit. There is, rather than do a video on how the installation actually goes, I'll link to the Legends video. So Legends did a really good video on how to install this on the front of your own dyna, and so that'll just be down below. So anyways, complete, assembled, getting it done, getting it together a piece at a time. Thanks, click subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and we'll tune in next time. Thanks.